financial literacy, and the human condition with the Money Doctor, Dr. Francis Rayam.
I'm Jess, and it is time for our Hug Highlight Reel with the Money Doctor, Dr. Francis Ram. Hi.
Hi, Jess. How are you?
I'm good, and I love doing these little mini episodes because we can cover so much.
Yes, and I think it's good for busy schedules like we all have these days. What are we starting off with?
Let's start off with an app that I have to stop using. I've been going on Temu a lot. It's where you can get all sorts of products, everything from like fashion to housewares to everything for some pretty incredible prices.
Lots of us, hypocrites or not, have been shopping on Temu. And last night, my assistant actually asked me, is it safe to shop on Temu? And
Hmm.
that made me think about things. So this morning, I did a little experiment. Now,
Okay.
in full disclosure, I have shopped on Temu, right? Because holy cow, the prices are incredible on some things.
Hmm.
I
Yeah.
will say that sometimes I receive junk that I thought was going to be good,
Right.
and sometimes I receive good things, but their return process has been very easy and has worked well. The experiment I did this morning was on their gamification. So if
Yeah,
you've
they
ever
lure
shopped,
you in with all these games.
yeah, if you've ever shopped at Temu, you will notice there will be a spinning wheel with a
Hmm.
countdown clock, and it will have some enormous prize, like we'll give you $100 in credits if you just spend $9 more. Right.
Right.
Now, what happens is, at least in my experience, especially this morning when I was doing this fun experiment, which I took screenshots of and had a conversation with their tech support on
And that's why you're the money doctor.
on chat. Well, it's my job to try to protect people. And after Deborah asked me, is it safe to shop on Temu? And I explained the experience I'd had, I forgot to tell her, but don't do those games. Those games are really
Yeah.
tough. So, so what happens is you get the spinning wheel. It tells you you're going to get a lot of money for nothing. And if you click it, what you'll find is there's a progress bar. In my
Hmm.
case today, I had already made one of the two purchases I was supposed to need to get my
Right.
$100 credit plus $10 because I chose the Temu credit rather than cash. Okay.
Yeah.
And of course, there are warnings all the way, like you won't be able to change your mind. You have to hurry up. You only have this much time.
Hmm.
So that sort of gamification where you don't know exactly what you're supposed to do in order to win the prize. And
Hmm.
I will say in my experience with Temu, what happens is it says you're going to get $110 when you buy just one more thing. And you buy one more
Right.
thing, and then it says, congratulations, you've won, fireworks go off, all that sort of stuff,
Hmm.
confetti. And then it says, and you only need three more dollars. And then you add a $5 item and it says, and you only need eight more dollars. And you add a
Hmm.
$10 item and it says, you only need 20 cents. So what happened in my experience is that progress bar, which ticks away a little bit at a time, goes pretty fast toward the end.
Hmm. Yeah.
When you get to the end, at least in my case, it said I needed 20 cents. I had to spend 20 cents to get my $110. This is kind of fun to play
Hmm.
with it because I could. I put four different items, one at a time in there, watched it say, congratulations, you're very close to your reward. Never got
Yeah.
the reward. At that point,
Oh,
I found the chat on Temu, which I've done before. They hide it, but if you dig long enough, you'll get a link inside a response that says click it. And
okay.
I had a very long chat, which I'm happy to disclose to anybody. I took screenshots of the whole thing. Anybody wants to read it, I'll disclose it. And I sent them screenshots of what was happening. I
Hmm.
never, ever could get them, despite the fact of supposedly being transferred to an escalated technician. I could never get them to do what I wanted, which was fine, your stuff is legit. This is a legitimate game. I'm only 20 cents away. Either Temu could suck it up for 20 cents on such a great customer as they said I was
Right. Yes, you're
and,
A1.
and cover me for this $110 credit. Or I'll tell you what, just tell me how much more I have to spend. I was very implicit about this. Tell me exactly how much more I have to spend in order to get this reward. And I
Hmm.
would continue to get canned responses like, we have rules and we will tell you, and you'll get closer with every purchase. No one ever said, this is how much you have to spend. So
Yeah.
then I said, you just tell me, I'll put it in my cart. You can look at my cart and you will see that this doesn't work. I am confident this won't work. I went through this with two different people. No one ever took my bait. No one would ever tell me how much to spend. They apologized for the inconvenience, all the regular stuff. But I never got to that point. And I had spent, well, I don't know, maybe $75 or so at that point. And
Right.
so I said, are you telling me I have to spend $110 to get my $110 reward? No, 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 that's not it. You got to do this thing. They just keep you on the hook. Finally,
Yeah.
they came back and said, you have to spend $100 more. And I
Oh,
said, no, I'm sorry. I'm not doing this.
but they lured you in with 20 cents.
And I canceled all the orders. I knew I was going to, right? I just put
Yeah.
stuff in there because I knew it was going to happen. So I canceled the orders. So I could do this experiment and tell people, is Temu a scam? No, I don't think Temu is a scam. I think you can shop on Temu, you pay good prices, you get items, you don't necessarily know where they're made, etc. You might have to wait longer for them. Sometimes somebody like Amazon, Walmart, eBay, you name it, you might find as good or better price, so shop around. But
Hmm.
in the end, it's just their gamification that I would consider to be um, dark patterns. Remember, we did a show about dark patterns. In other words, you
Yes.
can't quite see what you're going to get at the end. And
And it's
so
really hard to talk to a real person. Like you were talking probably to a bot.
initially a bot, then a real person, then an escalated person.
Hmm.
And you can tell because you get errors and they don't quite translate properly. And
Right.
but anyway, so to sum this up, let me say, I believe that their promotion, right, the spinning wheel of gifts, their
Yes.
promotion was misleading and manipulative. Okay, here's what consumers need to remember. First of all, if you're going to go shopping someplace like that, decide what you want and buy just that. Do not
Right.
play the games, just ignore the games. I just click
Mhm.
X every time I see them, I just go away. And then never keep spending to recover what you've already spent. Like they thought they had me on the
Mm,
hook for about $75 and I would keep going. And instead, I just
right.
canceled all my orders, I just
Yeah.
canceled. So the bottom line, if it's a free reward and it requires you to continue to make repeated purchases and the goal remains unclear or you can't reach it,
Right.
it never happens, stop playing, cancel your orders, start again with whatever it was you really wanted to order in the first place, and don't do it again.
All right. Very good information. If people have questions about this, how do they get a hold of you?
Well, thank you. And I will share anything I did with anybody that wants to see it. 413-773-3333.
And you can go to hugyourmoney.com and get a hold of Dr. Francis Ram. This has been another Hug Highlight Reel. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Jess. Underwritten by
Hug your money, it's where you belong.